a collection of novellas about a detective in the 1930s in Arkham, Massachusetts, that investigates things that go bump in the night.
There is this graphic novel, sort of comic thing I read not too long ago called CASEFILE Arkham. It is beautiful. It's well illustrated, well colored. Well, it's actually colored in some parts in black and white, like shading and all that. But when I saw Arkham Detective, it kind of reminded me of that. I know we're not here to talk about that, but Arkham Asylum, or was it? It's called CASEFILE Arkham. Great stuff. For those watching right now on the live stream or watching later, this is the artwork that's in that book. I know you can't see it, but it is nice. It is nice.
Oh,
anyway,
you got the photos, the pictures I sent you.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them on the screen too. I'm gonna put them on the screen as well. But
that'll be great.
Now the Arkham Detective, I like that blend. I like that because what is that? Let me guess. A crime noir with like a touch of Lovecraft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's nice.
It's definitely, in fact, let me see which one. The first in the series is Cthulhu Minions, and there's a creature that you haven't come across yet in the Cry of Cthulhu, and it's a total creation of mine. I call it a pilot demon, and it's a hideous little creature, about a little larger than a newborn baby, that has no legs and walks on its hands. And it's a hideous-looking little thing.
It sounds hideous. It walks on its hands?
Oh, yeah. It has no legs. It walks on its hands.
You need to abort that thing. Throw it out.
It's something else. It's a hideous little creature. He's a minion of Yothnotep. But anyways, and he was such a darling, creepy creature that I decided one day that I wanted to have his own story. And so as a lark, I wrote Cthulhu's Minions, which deals with the pilot demons and this detective in Arkham, Massachusetts in the 1930s. And it took off so well and was so well received. The next one I wrote is called The Innsmouth Look. Mm. And now the detective is, although he's in Arkham, a crazed fish-face guy from Innsmouth, knife-wielding guy, comes and kidnaps a 7-year-old girl and takes her to Innsmouth.
Oh, shit. What's going to happen there?
And he goes after him to hopefully catch him and retrieve the girl. And then we have The Devil That Came to Arkham, which is about a night gaunt that is in disguise of a human being, and I won't go much farther than that.
Okay.
Then the next one is called the Dunwich Dungeon. The Dunwich Dungeon.
It is a tongue twister. Say that real fast. Dunwich Dungeon.
Yes. And which is another in the cycle. The fifth one is one I had a lot of fun with, and it's called Death on the Arkham Express. And like I say, every one of my stories I write, I throw a challenge at myself. I want something that's difficult I've never done before.
Okay.
And in that particular one, I wanted to make as if Raymond Chandler, Agatha Christie, and H.P. Lovecraft were locked in a room together and forced to write a story.
Ah, that's nice. So, how do you get in their their headspace? I mean, that requires a lot of course, being well versed in that material and being able to understand the prose and all that.
Yeah, I think sometimes authors are frustrated actors, and I just, again, my characters, I get it. I sit back, and I let go and let them.
You let go and you let them. I like how you say that. So your characters really write the stories yourself. So,
yes, sir.
Do you plot out your stories in advance, or do you just sit down?
I don't
write about.
No, I don't use an outline. I mean, I normally have I know how I'm going to start it. I know how I'm going to end it, and maybe a couple of pieces in between, but I don't use outlines.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. It's just what I'm used to doing. Some people use outlines, okay? But I don't. And so far, my sixth in the Arkham Detective series is Who Stole the Necronomicon? which is my sequel to Dreams in the Witch House.
Oh, wait, that's a good story.
Yes. So then there's still more to come, but right now there's 6 of the Arkham Detective novellas that are available.
What, out of all the short stories and the material that Lovecraft has, which one is your favorite?
I've been asked that many times, and I don't have one favorite. I mean, I love Shadow Out of Time. Absolutely love The Case of Charles Dexter Ward. Dunwich Horror is one of my favorites. Shadow over Innsmouth. So it's difficult. I say that, those are at least my top 4 that I really like a lot, and they influenced me.
Oh, definitely. I could see that. And it's hard to pick a favorite. It really is, because there's a lot of good ones out there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if I was,
and he was writing when he started out. I think he was like 15 years old when he started.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he barely made much of anything off his work. It wasn't until later.
Yes and no. He had a tragedy in his life, and that was when Harry Houdini died. You see, Houdini liked Lovecraft, and Lovecraft, pardon me, ghost wrote for Houdini.
You okay over there?
Yeah, I'm fine now.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Hey, no problem.
He would ghost write for Harry Houdini, and these were novellas. And Houdini was the most popular celebrity in the United States at the time. And Lovecraft, back in the 1920s, would get $1,500 for every book that he wrote for Houdini. And that was a lot. That was a lot of money,
especially back then. Yeah. So I mean, he did make money from writing. It's just like the Cthulhu mythos stuff, that is cosmic horror stuff that didn't really take off until afterwards, right?
No. But then a lot of it was his fault. For example, he submitted Dunwich Horror to Weird Tales. They loved it. They went crazy over it. Give us more of this stuff, and he just ignored it.
Yeah.
He wrote The Case of Charles Dexter Ward, and they were begging him for a novella. He wrote The Case of Charles Dexter Ward and threw it in a drawer and never submitted it. It wasn't published until after his death. And that's a great work. It's a very, very good piece.
And there's a lesson to learn from that. There's a lesson to learn from that. He could have made more money if he just would have done what he didn't want to do.
He was offered a position, I think it was at Weird Tales, as editor. Offered a very good paying job.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, and he walks into their office with a slouch hat on, a cape, and a walking stick.
Mm-hmm.
Waving the walking stick around, and they're like, "Oh, who's this nut? We don't want him." So he was his own worst enemy. It's unfortunate.
It is.
He had a lot of opportunities.
I remember,
of course, the one with Houdini wasn't. Houdini died of peritonitis.
Yeah,
and he lost. That was a good moneymaker for him when he lost that deal.
I remember reading that Lovecraft didn't like to do serials either. He didn't like to do additional. He didn't like to serialize his work, which is like Reanimator. Like he added additional chapters. And, he wasn't really too fond of that, but he did it. He did it anyway, which is okay.
Well, he said something to the effect, and I'm paraphrasing now. All of my stories, unrelated as they may be, are connected with the central theme. And, of course, that's the mythos. By the way, he never called it the mythos. He called it the Arkham cycle. It was August Derleth that came up with the term.
See. You knew my next question was going to be. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, now, for us about your writing career, I mean, you have, you said 20 books?
No, sir. I have a dozen books out.
A dozen
right now.
books.
A couple of
12.
Yeah.
I was going to say 20. I was going to boast it for you. So 12.
Well,
okay.
I'm working towards that, but yes.
Working towards that. Okay. Now,
the latest couple things that are out right now, like I said, is the latest Arkham Detective book, which is Who Stole the Necronomicon. And then 4, I like to think, notable Lovecraftian authors got together recently. David Hambling from the UK that does the Harry Stubbs series, which he's, of all the contemporaries right now, he's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Myself, Matthew Davenport, who writes the Andrew Dorn series, and John DeLauder, who is a Lovecraft historian and also writer of fiction. We got together and wrote 4 tales which have to do with time looping, all with a Lovecraftian